So Looker is a tool that people use to understand what's going on in their organization through data. In most organizations that are current, you can't see your customers, you can't hear your customers. Looker helps you build interfaces so that everybody in the organization can actually understand what's going on. Before starting Looker, was the CTO of several different companies. And at each of the companies, I felt my job was to make it so that people could understand what was happening in the business, kind of mapping technology and business. And doing that, I built data tools that allowed people to understand what was going on. And then after I built it the third time, I realized there was a company there and started Looker. The first 4 customers had 4 very different ways of delivering what I was building. So the first customer I did as a pure consulting. It was somebody who I'd worked with before. I said, I'm going to come in and do your data. They said, oh, Lloyd's going to do my data? Yes. I knew them from a prior life. The second person was somebody from one of the previous companies I was CTO at and said, oh, Lloyd, you're doing a data company. I want you to come in and install your tool and teach our people how to build stuff in the tool. So the second one was a consulting. I was lead in consulting. I taught a guy named Wilson to program in this new language I had built. The third one was a pure consulting. Okay, and the fourth one was I just gave them the software. All of them worked, but the problem with just giving someone the software was that they didn't get as much value out as the ones that were the combination. And I realized that I needed to be teaching how to do data as well as delivering product. And so that's how we found our fit. What's interesting is that product market fit is really, in SaaS, is not necessarily product fit, it's value fit. I knew what the value was. I knew that the value was I can see what's going on in my company with data, and everybody can, and they have the ability to do that. How do you deliver that value? And in Looker, it was part product, part service. It was a very quick forward deploy. We would come in and do a free trial. We would set up the software for you, and then we would teach you how to use it. And then we would watch for engagement, and then only when there was engagement would we close the deal. So we would never ask for money until they were getting a lot of value. That model we discovered relatively early, and we had almost no churn, just because we only sold customers who got the value out of it. We had about a 75% close rate on trials. The thing that I realized very early was that Looker was an education company. We knew that the value was getting the customer to understand how to build tooling so that they could understand their data. We realized that we needed to target an individual in the organization that was going to be the Looker evangelist. And we figured out how to give them tooling so they could do that better. We also wanted a direct relationship with them, a continuous relationship. So we built chat into our product so that when they had a question, they could get us immediately and get answers to their questions so that they could provide answers to their organization's questions. So we modeled the behavior that we thought that they would have in their organization. So if you're looking at data and you don't understand something, you need to be able to ask, what is this? I don't understand this. Can you explain it to me? And when they're trying to build their data models, they would ask us, how do I model? What is the best way to measure this? And so we built tooling that enabled the relationship. One of the things about product market fit early that's really important is to look at your at-bats. When somebody shows up and expresses an interest in the service or product that you're offering, making sure that you do everything that you can to maintain close contact so that you can learn from them. By the time we had 20 customers, I knew it was going to be big. There was a whole trend about the way that you build dashboards. You put SQL on a page and then it renders a chart and it gives you a result, but it's opaque. There's no depth to it. The way I would describe it is that a newspaper is kind of opaque. You read the newspaper, you're interested in something else, there's no more information on the page, you're kind of stuck. And that's the way most reporting works. But Looker had this other thing, which is that, I'm curious about that, and the tooling to drill into it, to understand what's behind it is right there for you. Now, that's high value. The ability of anybody in the organization to go, that number looks weird. Why is that number weird? That's the differentiator. And it didn't exist anywhere else in the market. And so I knew that we were going to do great. When your product is both product and service, you get in front of your customer and you have a unique opportunity to be able to listen, and your customers will make you smarter. I realized that I could get in and I could show somebody how to build the models that I was building. I was certain at that point that I could teach people how to do what I was doing, the services part. So I did everything. At the very beginning, you're like the guy on the mall who plays all the instruments. And so I was playing all the instruments. I was doing the selling, I was writing the software, and I'm not the best at all of those things, right? But I'm able to play all of the instruments. I'm probably the best in the product development and software development, but the other parts I'm not. And so I started bringing on people to do those things that were better at me than those things, and we started to be able to get growth. But we had established the model early, and the same model that we established worked until we sold.